In chapter 10, lesson number 1, volume of rectangular prisms. In this problem, the dimensions of an aquarium are shown. Length and width are 2 and 3, and the height is 2 feet. What is the area of the base of the aquarium? The base, this is the base, shaped like a rectangle. So it will be 2 multiplied by 3 equals 6 feet squared. What is the height of the aquarium? The height 2 feet. Fill in the blanks to find the volume. Volume means how many cubic feet the aquarium can contain. How many cubic units can fit inside this aquarium? Its length times width times height. So we can say 2 times 3 times another 2, and this really will give you 12 feet cube. Now, how can we find the volume? The volume V of a rectangular prism. Rectangular prism means it has 6 faces and each face shaped like a rectangle. We call it rectangular prism. How can we find its volume? How much space it can hold inside, how many cubic units can be fit inside. It's called the volume. Volume equals LWH, means length times width times height. Or you can use this rule, volume equals base area times the height. Base area means length times width times h, which is the height. So whether you use length times width times height, or you use base area times height, which is the same rule, because this B capital means LW, means L times H. So use this one, use this one, it's okay. A three-dimensional figure has length, width, and height. A prism is a three-dimensional figure with two parallel bases that are congruent polygons. In a rectangular prism, the bases are congruent rectangles. As I told you, we have 6 faces and all faces shaped like rectangles. Maybe 2 faces will be squares, but other faces are rectangles. We call it rectangular prism. So it's allowed in the rectangular prism for only 2 bases to be like squares. But in general, in rectangular prism, all faces are rectangles. Volume, what does mean this word volume? Volume means how many cubic units can be fit inside a figure. How many cubic units can be fit inside a figure. An easy method to find how many small cubes we can have here. We count the length. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We count the width. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as well. And we count the height. 1, 2 units. So this will be 6 times 6 times 2 and so on. The same if we use the rule V equals BH, means area of base multiplied by the height. Let's find out what is the volume of this figure. So the same rule, length times width times height, very easy, just multiply 10 times 12, 120, 120 by 6, 720, and so on. Let's solve problem A together. We need to find the volume. So for problem A, V for volume equals length times width times height equals 5 times 5 times 5, 5 times 5, 25 by 5, 125 inch cube. In volume, we use cubic units. For problem B, also volume equals length times width times height. So this will be, it really doesn't matter which one is the length and the width and the height since we are going to multiply them all. So it's 4 times 10 times 6. 4 times 10 is 40, by 6, 240. And you will reach the same answer if you multiply 4 by 6 first. 4 by 6, 24 times 10, 240. The same if you multiply 6 by 10 first, 6 by 10, 60 by 4, 240. So it really doesn't matter which one is the length and width and height. Sometimes we call them dimensions, dimensions of the rectangular prism. So this is feet cube. So here 125 inch cube, and here 240 feet cube. A serial box has the dimensions shown. What is the volume of the serial box? So it has length 8 and width 3¼ inch and height 12½. So the volume will be, first they are trying to estimate, means 8 is close to 10, 3¼ close to 3, and 12½ is close to 10, so it's close to 300. But we don't do this estimation. This is just for your mental math to check your answer is reasonable or not. The volume is length width times height, so 8 times 3¼ times 12½. 3¼ it will be 13/4 as improper fraction. Multiply then add. Also multiply then add will give you 25/2. Don't forget we can use cancellation because 2 by 4 is 8, so we can cancel the 2 and the 4 and the 8. So it's 13 times 25, which is 325. So the volume of the cereal box is 325 cubic inches, and it's close to the estimated one, so it's a reasonable answer. Question C, find the volume of a container that measures 4 inches long, 5 inches high, and 8½ inches wide. So without even graph, we know that volume equals length times width times height. So this will give you 4 multiplied by 8½ multiplied by 5. So we leave the 4 as is, 8½ multiply, then add. So 2 times 8 will give you 16 plus 1, 17 over the same 2. All of this multiplied by 5. Now we have cancellation. We can cancel out the 2 with the 4. Will give you 2. So 2 times 17 times 5, or 2 by 5 is easier. 2 by 5, 10 times 15, 170. 170 watt inch cube. We can also think of this multiplication mentally. Let me show you how. You have 4 times 8 and a half times 5. How we can think of it mentally? Very easy. Just multiply 4 and 5 first. In your mind, 4 and 5 will give 20. So this is like 20 times 8 and a half. 20 times 8 and a half is like 2, just 2 times 8 and a half, and we will drop the 0. 2 times 8 and a half means 8 and a half, and another 8 and a half, which is 17. Drop the 0, so 170. So you bring it in the normal multiplication, you bring it mentally, it's up to you. Whatever is easy for you, go with it. How can we find a missing dimension? Like this problem, for example. Of course, to find missing dimension, we need to solve the equations. So I give you the length and width, I'll give you the volume, and I need the height. So apply the rule, volume equals length times width times height. Replace the volume with 84, length with 6, width with 4. 6 by 4 is 24, h divided by 24 for both sides. And this will give you the height as 3.5. Or you can use this rule as solving equation. So here you are given volume equals 94.5 kilometer cube, length equals 7 kilometer, height equals 3 kilometer, and width equals. So if you want to find it mentally, just multiply the two numbers, length and height. This will give you 21. Then divide 94.5 by 21. To solve it like equations, we know that volume equals length times width times the height. So under the V, just under the V, we write its value, which is 94.5. And the L is 7, multiplied by the W, which is unknown. So we write it down as W, multiplied by the height, which is 3. So here 7 multiplied by 3 is 21. 21 times W means 21W, and here the same 94.5. Now, this is multiplication equation, and we all know that multiplication equation can be solved by division. So divide by 21, divide by 21. This 21 is cancelled, so W remains in the right hand side. Now we need to evaluate this one. What is 94.5 divided by 21? Let's do it here. 94.5 divided by 21. Let's begin with the 94. 94 divided by 21, this will give you 4. 4 by 21 is 84. Minus will give you 10. Lift decimal point up. Drop the 5 down. 105 divided by 21 is 5. Because 5 times 21 is 105. So it is 4.1. So final answer, W equals 4.5 what? 4.5 kilometers. Of course, here we don't write kilometer squared, we don't write kilometer cube, because this is a length, and length is in units, in kilometers. In the guided practice, A rectangular kitchen sink is 25.15 inches long, 19.25 inches wide, and 10 inches deep. Find the amount of water that can be contained in the sink. Of course, amount of water can be contained in the sink. This is volume. This is volume. So you are going to say V equals length times width times height. So this is 25.25 multiplied by 19.75 multiplied by 10. So let's multiply this multiplication. 25.25 multiplied by 19.75. 5 times 5 is 25, carry up 2. 5 multiplied by 2 is 10 and 2, 12. And we carry up 1. 5 by 5, 25 and 1, 26. We carry up 2. 5 by 2 is 10 and 2, 12. To move from the 5 to the 7, we set here 0. 7 multiplied by 5, 35. So we put the 5 and we carry up the 3. 7 multiplied by the 2, 14. 14 plus 3, 17. We carry up the 1. 7 by 5, 35 again. And 1, 36. So carry up the 3. Finally, 7 by 2, 14. 14 and 3, 17. Now to move to the 9, we put 0, 0. And we start with the 9. 9 by 5, 45. 5 carry up 4. 9 multiplied by 2 is 18. 18 and 4, 22. So 2 carry up 2. 9 multiplied by 5 again. This is 45. 45 and 2, 47. So 7 carry up 4. 9 multiplied by 2 is 18 and 4, 22. To move to the 1, see we put 0, 0, 0. 1 by 5, 5, 1 by 2, 2, 1 by 5, 5, 1 by 2, 2. Finally, we will add, so 5, 7, 6 and 7, 13 and 5, 18. 8 carry up 1. 1 and 2, 3 and 6, 9, 11, 16. Carry up another 1. 1 and 1, 2 and 7, 9. 9 and 7, 16 and 2, 18. Carry up 1. 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 4 and 5, 9. Then 4. Of course, decimal point after 1, 2, 3, 4 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4 will be here. So 25.25 times 19.75 equals 498.687. All of this should be multiplied by 10. So this is 498.6875 multiplied by 10. And we all know that multiplying by 10 will move decimal point to only one place. So finally it will be 4,986.875 inch cube. Now in problem 2, find the missing dimension of a rectangle prism, missing dimension, so we are going to divide for sure, of a rectangular prism with a volume 126 cubic centimeter and width of 7 and 7 or 8 centimeter and a height of 2 centimeter. So we begin by writing the rule of the volume. So I think I will erase this multiplication so that we can write down this problem. Here problem 2. We all know that volume equals length times width times height. So in the place of the volume, on the left hand side, we will put 126 and the width is 7 and 7 over 8 and the height is 2, so we need to find the length. So we leave L as L multiplied by W, which is 7 and 7 over 8 multiplied by 2. So we drop down that 126 equals length multiplied by 7 and 7 over 8. We can transform it into improper fraction, multiply then add. So this will be 8 multiplied by 7 is 56, and 56 plus 7, this will give you 63. So this is 63 over 8. Multiplied by 2, we can use cancellation. So divide by 2 will give you 1, divide by 2 will give you 4. So this is like 126 equals L times 63 over 4. Now we should divide, because this is multiplication equation. We divide this side, divide by 63 over 4, divide by 63 over 4. Of course, here 63 over 4 divide itself is gone. So L remains alone. And 126 division will be multiplication. 63 over 4 will be 4 over 63. Now we can use cancellation again, because divide by 63 will give you 1, divide by 63 will give you 2. Finally, L equals 2 times 4, which is 8 centimeter. So L equals 8 centimeter. In question 3, why can you use either the formula V equals LWH or V equals VH to find the volume of the rectangular prism? Because B, which is the base area, equals L times W. So two rules are the same. Two rules are the same. That's it for our lesson for today. If you have a question, you can write it down in comments.